Well, welcome to another remarkably adequate video. You may notice a difference in audio quality. That's because when I left the house this morning, I couldn't get my recording system to work. So right now, all the audio is coming from the camera itself, which, as far as GoPros go, is okay, but not really that good. And as far as what you're used to on the channel, it's definitely lower quality. I'm off to Bukit Jalil this morning. It's National Sports Day here in Malaysia. And Bukit Jalil, I'm just going up there to see if anything interesting is happening at the National Stadium. I'm kind of distracted by this audio issue. I just realized that without the microphone, I don't really have any other options except to use the camera audio, which, as I just said, is bad. I am recording on a second microphone. It's like a little audio recorder built into the microphone itself, but I'm not sure that works. It's a transmitter. And I'm not sure that works without the receiver also being on. We'll see what happens when we get back to my house, whether or not this whole scheme worked. This is National Sports Day, as I mentioned before, and it's actually 3 days. It started yesterday, today's Saturday, and it finishes tomorrow. So I'm now out at Bukit Jalil, which is also known as I think the Kuala Lumpur Sports City or something like that, Malaysian Sports City. Sort of a brand name. But the name of the town is actually Bukit Jalil. And it's a stop on the Sri Petaling LRT line. So there should be something going on out here. The National Stadium is here. The Axiata Arena is here, where a lot of the badminton tournaments take place. The National Aquatic Center is here. And since I'm a former swimming coach, that's going to be our first stop. This is what I love about this place. I have no idea what this competition is. I just wandered out here. Of course, it is National Sports Day, but I just wandered out here on a Saturday to Bukit Jalil and the National Aquatic Stadium, and sure enough, there's a swimming competition going on. I'll find out what this is in a minute, but it's the kind of thing you run into all the time in Kuala Lumpur, not just here at Bukit Jalil. Well, I found out that this is part of the Sport Excel series, and I don't know if they do it for other sports, but I know in aquatics, Sport Excel runs a series of competitions that are open to club swimmers, and I think they're held throughout the country. This is the final. And I also think that this might be a prelim final competition, because when I see the times up on the scoreboard, some of the times have cues after the time. So if they're not qualifying for finals, I don't know what they're qualifying for. But anyway, that's the kind of competition I'm at right now. Well, they just had a list of results on the board saying that these athletes are qualified for the final. So apparently this is a prelim final competition. That means anyone that qualifies this morning will be swimming again this afternoon or this evening. It also means that the meet will probably be carrying on tomorrow. So if I feel like attending another swimming meet in my life, I can come back out here tomorrow and see pretty much the same thing. This is part of the National Stadium. And regardless of how wide the lens is on the GoPro, you can't get the entire stadium into the shot. So maybe I'll get some shots of it from Google Earth Studio. Morning. I'm heading to a bunch of tents that are set up outside the National Stadium now. There's music and people. Something's going on there. Something that will attract the international big shot. So let's check it out.
Daripada Bowlers TV, daripada tajaan sarapan pagi hari ini, restoran nasi dagang Terengganu, yang mana tuan-tuan dan puan-puan kena pergi ke restoran nasi dagang Terengganu di Seksyen 7 Bangi, sangat sedap.
Lepas telur dah.
You see a lot of tiger motifs whenever you investigate anything about Malaysian sport. The national football team, for example, is called Harimau Malaysia. Harimau, of course, is the Malaysian word for tiger. So whenever you see a Malaysian athlete, they are wearing jerseys or shirts with some kind of tiger print on it. And a lot of the iconography about Malaysian sport contains the head of a tiger. If you know much about football, you'll notice that this is a futsal pitch, which is a game that was originally developed in Brazil and it's been adopted worldwide. It's very famous or very popular. It's a much smaller pitch than a normal football field. And I have to keep looking away from the camera because there are balls flying in my direction. This is a penalty tournament here, and they're trying to kick the ball into the net without it being stopped by the gatekeeper or goalkeeper. So I have to be careful. I'm standing right behind the net. As usual, I am probably not here at the best time of day. It's probably about 10:30 or 11 o'clock here. It's a Saturday, so a lot of people work here on Saturday. So to have a lot of people out here at this hour on a Saturday is kind of unreasonable. But these kind of events go on all day long, and probably later this evening there will be more people here. I should adjust my schedule so that I have most of my wandering around, yammering into the camera activities taking place in the evening. That would make a whole lot more sense. And of course, it's not a Malaysian event unless there's food involved. The Texas Chicken Place is the only one here right now, and of course the Milo, or Milo. I keep forgetting how you say that. I'll have to look that one up. But I'm sure there will be others later. This is a perfect food truck event, and I'm sure there will be others that show up later on. I'm going to hop back on the LRT and go back into town near Masjid Jamek, which is a short walk away from Dataran Merdeka. That's the kind of place that would almost surely have some kind of an event going on because of National Sport Day. Although I suspect that if it does, it will be later on tonight. But I'm going over there anyway just to see. I'm inside the LRT station, a Bukit Jalil LRT station, and I'm looking at the National Hockey Stadium, which is just across the way from the train station. I've made several videos from Bukit Jalil, and I think in at least two of them I talked about how famous this particular LRT station is. I'm not going to tell the story again because I don't want to be that guy that tells the same stories over and over. But if you're interested in what happened at this stadium or how it was used in Hollywood, then you can watch the video that I'm linking at the top of the screen. That'll explain everything. There's a really nice breeze here. But as you can see, my train is here. So I'm on the way to Masjid Jamek. One thing that's always interested me is how they schedule railways. Now, the reason that came up is because getting back to Masjid Jamak from Bukit Jalil was anything but straightforward. I had to take a route that directly contradicted all the signs on the line. And I think part of it is because, well, not part of it, all of it is because there is a section of track between Masjid Jamak and Bandaraya stations on the Sri Petaling line that is closed. And somehow they rearranged the trains so that they go back and forth between 2 or 3 stations all day long. And unless you do that, unless you're used to that, there's no way you're ever going to figure it out looking at signs and listening to the announcements. So I had to ask several security people which way to go to get to Masjid Jamak, changing trains twice. I have to be honest though, one of the times I changed trains on my recent ride was because I got lost. I stayed on the train at one stop where I should have gotten off. But again, that wasn't entirely my fault. Regardless, I am now walking towards Dataran Merdeka. There was something going on here, or maybe there is going to be something going on here. It's hard to tell, but I don't think it has anything to do with National Sports Day. It has something to do with the city of Kuala Lumpur itself and the kinds of businesses they want to have. I think it might be some kind of business expo. But right now it looks like they're either setting up or taking everything down. This is Dataran Merdeka. And the famous 100-meter tall flagpole. I think I have the whole thing in there. It's hard to see on the screen in this sunlight. If you know anything about Kuala Lumpur, I'm sure you've seen pictures of this place. You have these iconic Moorish buildings just next to Dataran Merdeka. This is the Abdul Samad building. The one down there in the corner, I'm not so sure what that is, but it's the same style. This is a popular place, even when it's 33 degrees out. There are people that will come out and hang out here. No sports day activities at Dataran Merdeka, at least not today. Maybe tomorrow. But the weather is getting a little bit windy, overcast, which means it's about to rain. I figure I have 20 minutes about before the rain starts. So I've got to grab some lunch and head for home. This is my favorite lunch place. In all the years I've been here, if I can get down here to get lunch, I always do. Well, I just stopped to get lunch. And normally I would get a little plastic container. The server would put some rice in it, and then I would go through the line and put whatever I wanted with the rice on top of it, with some sauces and things like that. This time they just gave me a plate, and I just filled it up. You know, give me some rice and I'll fill it up. The danger with that is that when you get a plate, you tend to put too many things on the plate. So I paid 2 ringgit more for my lunch than I normally do, and they just eyeball it. You know, normally I pay 6 ringgit. This one was 8. So I think when I get the smaller container that they pre-fill with rice, it's probably better, not just from a financial standpoint, but also from a calorie standpoint. You end up eating a lot more. And I take it with me, so I always end up taking it home. And it's not any heavier. I don't want to give the impression that it's hard to carry this. It's not. In the United States, we call this to go. In British English, which is what Malaysians are used to, it's referred to as takeaway. And the official or the local language term is bungkus, means takeaway or outside or something like that. You can never go by the literal translations, but the meaning is what's important. Well, it looks like I may get lucky and miss the rain. I'm about 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes from my house. The skies are clearing a little bit, but not enough to say, hey, it's not going to rain today. It is going to rain today, and it's going to be very soon. It just may not rain while I'm outside. I'm going to wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. Be seeing you.